You know, this month we've been going through the Aquarian, and we've been looking at Jesus' walk as a young man. We went through India, Tibet, and we're going to Persia now. Some of you know the story, some of you do not, but it's good to have them in context. You know, a lot of what you heard in the last 2 weeks, you didn't realize Jesus was a young man, did you? You may have heard the stories before, and you thought he was in his full powership. You thought he was 30 years old and taking names, but he wasn't. He was young. So today, very few places do they actually give his age in the Aquarian, but they do with this one. He is 24 years old when he goes into Persia. Just to remind you, in Tibet, last week he did his first healing. So now as he goes into Persia, he is healing, he's teaching, and he's working with the people. So, Jesus always taught the poor. And as I was preparing for the service, my beautiful guides, loving, beautiful guides, said to me, "Now, Cindy, why do you think he always taught the poor?" And I went, gosh, that's an interesting question. You know, most of us would think because, oh, they're the poor downtrodden, they have no rights, they need to rally, you know, they're the unfortunate ones. But this is what they said. The poor were as entrenched in the rules as the priests were. They had to wake up so the people who governed them could wake up. As long as the poor people lived subject to the rules of the priesthood, they would always be subject to the rules of the priesthood, no matter what the priesthood decided. Do you see? There would be no awakening. And because they were so entrenched in it themselves, they were hard to move as well. You know, he did never rally the people to a public rebellion. He rallied them to open their hearts, to know their choices, to know there was light within them. I thought that was an interesting thought. So in chapter 38, Jesus enters. He's talking to all of the people. And there is a gathering, it's a feast in honor of the way they worship God. And again, this is where the Magi lived. The 3 wise men who came to visit him at his birth actually lived in Persia. And when he first arrived, he communed with them and stayed in prayer with them for 7 days. So at this feast, the lead priest says, "We're open, whoever wants to speak can speak." So Jesus speaks, and he says to them, you know, "I honor you all, I honor your faith, I honor that you love God, honor everything. However, you all teach that there is a God that is not so good, that created evil. How can our God of good have created a man who creates evil, or a God who creates evil? How could the God of good create another God who creates evil?" And so this is what was said. The priest rose and said, "If you will answer me, your problem will be solved. We all do recognize the fact that evil is. Whatever is must have a cause, and if God the One made not this evil, then where is the God that did?" Now, take a breath. Standard faith, right? We're in the trenches now. Jesus said, "Whatever God the One has made is good. All created things, though, have their color, tone, and form. But certain tones, though good and pure themselves, when mixed with other tones, produce inharmonies, discordant tones. And certain things, though good and pure, when mixed, produce discordant things, even poisonous things, and men call these things evil. So evil is the inharmonious blending of colors, tones, or forms of good. In metaphysics, we teach it. Evil is the inharmonious blending of things inherently good." And think with me for a moment. You love blueberries?
Yes.
You love garlic?
Yes.
You mix the two together,
Yeah.
you create evil. This is true. You mix the two together, you have evil.
Complex sauce.
This is the thing of our world that we've forgotten. Everything has a tone and a place. everything at some level is good. Has that peace of God, has that essence of goodness in it. So, he says, now man is not all wise. Oh, are you surprised? Man is not all wise, yet he has a will of his own. He has the power and he uses it to mix God's good things in a multitude of ways, and every day he makes discordant sounds and evil things. Man makes his devil thus, and becomes afraid of him and flees. The devil and the burning fires are both works of man, and none can put the fires out and dissipate this evil one but the man who made them both. Jesus stood aside, and no one said a word. Then he left and went to pray. Pretty heavy message, huh? And even in metaphysics, we deal with this all the time. We really try to embody the thing, inharmonious mixing of things inherently good. Yet when we go about our world and we see this or we see that, don't we still tend to go to that space where there is evil? Okay. People are always asking me when I read this or teach about it, so Cindy, you actually believe that there are not evil people in the world? And I'll always tell them, when we live in the consciousness of God, we're living in the consciousness of goodness. When we turn away and walk in our own consciousness, denying the existence and power and alignment with God, we're now in separation. We actually need light to live, and I'm not talking about the sun. We need the energy of love to thrive. We need light, we need love. When we turn away from the essence of the Creator, God, the love of nature, the love of man. Many people live on nature. They live on the love of creatures. Do you see what I'm saying? The love of the ocean. They bring greater love into themselves. But when we turn away from the power of love and become totally consumed with self, what light do we live on? We live on the light we can take from others. We begin to try to control people who have light, to give me light, to feed me. We need you to compliment me, say something good about me because I needed to be fed. We start pulling things from other people to us. And when we start exerting our power over another, what do we start seeing? That which we would call evil. When I take from you what is not mine to take, I become evil. Every crime is based on that, is it not? Every crime in our land, as we morally dictate, is an occurrence when someone has taken from you what is not theirs to take. But they're taking light to live. They're taking light so they can live. But they are living in a state of separation from the greater light. Within every man is a spark of the divine. If it were not so, he would not be animated. He would not have a soul and a spirit. We're all children of God. How we live is choice. Is everybody hearing me?
Yeah.
And people will say, are there evil disembodied spirits? Well, if you walk in separation and you cross over and you die and you stay on the earth plane and you don't want to go talk to God, you likely will be looking for light from other people. In all realms of our world, there are those who have consciously sought to separate, and when they do, they are certainly allowed to do so. If you are living in separation and seeking to control others or seeking to take what is not yours, when you mix things to create, is it not likely there will be discordance? Okay. Are you feeling it? Staying in the energy of God. Remember what God told Moses his name was. I am all that you will ever need. I am the fulfillment of every human being. I am all you will ever need. When we live in the energy of God love, every need is met. Do you realize that? When we flow in God's love, every need is met. Now, every single thing I wanted on my list may not come, but everything I need for my soul will come. Everything I need for my growth will come when I'm trusting that energy of God love. And that's the goodness. How often have you controlled something and gone into separation? God, I got this. Simple way to go into separation. I got this, God. Then we start moving things around, and then we dread dealing with what we've just created. We've taken the energy of the I've got your needs covered here, and we've made a devil that we run from. Don't want to deal with it. Do you see? Even in our elite wisdom, as metaphysicians, we all still have that need to remember to step out of duality, to let God be a part of everything that exists. Okay. In every human being, the light exists. When you live in duality, which is living in that separation from God, in God there's no duality, right? What is good for me is good for the whole. What hurts you hurts me. We're all connected. In the world of man, when we pull away and separate, we live in duality. And the one thing you are required to do if you live in duality is judge. I mean, you're required to judge. You don't have a choice. Because in duality, it's either good or bad, isn't it? And you have to decide. So you're on key all the time. Is this good? Is it bad? Do I have to protect myself? Can I align with it? You're always on this queued up state of needing to decide. If you live in the idea of God love, you look for love. And you look for union and community. Even though you are looking like you're not in alignment with me, I know you are. You see? No matter what's coming out of your mouth, I know you love me. Because at some level we all love each other. In duality, we look for the differences, don't we? Looking to God, we'll look for the light and we'll look for the good. So someone will say to me, so Cindy, what you're saying is, there is not an evil one out there tempting me at every turn? No, there's not. But if you want to be tempted at every turn, you certainly can be. You can be. You can be tempted with every step and breath you take, if that's what you're looking for. Then you're looking for the good and the bad, you see? Or you can move in to looking for the good. Got it? Yeah. So easy, right? Okay. Remember, what you focus on becomes. How easy would it be for us to focus on the good? And what did Jesus tell us to focus on? Did he say, I want you to look at your brothers and make sure they're praying enough times? Ever? Ever? That didn't come until the New Testament, way down the line, when they were trying to organize the peeps. Jesus never said that. He never had you be your brother's keeper. He had you watch your heart. And he looked for good in every man. All right. In the very next chapter, we have the chapter about Jesus coming up the next day. And it's a famous chapter. It's about going to the silence. He comes up the next day out of meditating to teach. And around him is a great light. And one of the high priests comes to him and says, where did your wisdom come from, and what is that light that's around you? And Jesus begins to teach him about going within. And this is what he says. There is a silence where the soul may meet its God, and there the fount of wisdom is, and all who enter are immersed in light and filled with wisdom, love, and power. And the priest said, tell me about that light so I can go there. And Jesus said, the silence is not a place closed with a wall. It's not on rocky steeps or guarded by the sword of man. Men carry with them all the time the secret place where they may meet their God. And it doesn't matter where you are, mountaintop, in the marts of trade, or quiet in your home. You may at any time fling wide the door and find the silence. Find the house of God. It is within the soul. And he says, it may be too much for you to be disturbed by the noise of business or the thoughts of men. And it's good to take some time to go away if you need to. When life's heavy load is pressing hard, it's better to go out and seek a quiet place to pray and meditate. The silence is the kingdom of the soul, which is not seen by human eyes. If you must find this silence, you must yourself prepare the way. None but the pure in heart may enter. And you must lay aside all tenseness of mind, all business cares, all fears, all doubts, and troubled thoughts. And what is he asking you to do? All business cares. What are business cares? But that world where we're asked to judge. Do you know what I'm saying? The world asks us all the time to go into separation from God. God, you don't have a hand in this one. We got it. Go into here. Go into separation and judge and worry and be concerned. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, and you guys know I know numbers. Numbers are my history. Numbers tell a story when you look at a financial statement. They all tell a story. And you do your ratios, and you do your this, and you do your that, and you get this story. But the numbers never tell the whole story. When you look at our numbers at church, InterQuest, you know, we've been trying to get financing for our new sanctuary. We've been putting our numbers out to various banks. When you look at our numbers, with that eye of man, you don't see that every deposit represents someone touching God. Every dime is a healing. It's a counseling. It's someone moved in a Sunday service. It's someone partnering with God as a tither. Every deposit is filled with God love. And every check that goes out, every paycheck that goes out is someone dedicating their life to keep the service going. Every check that goes out is something happening to support this energy of God love. If they could touch that in those numbers, they would be falling over themselves to finance us. We would have a line of bankers begging to finance us because they could feel the immensity of the energy behind those numbers. How often do we take our lives and we make a business idea of it? I have not achieved, therefore I cannot become good in God's eyes. God, I'm working on being good, but I've still failed a lot. You know? We take our numbers of our lives and we call it black and white. We call it facts. Instead of looking at every good intention we had. Every heart we've loved. Do you know what I'm saying? And looking at our world like no matter what happens, behind everything is a heart that loves God. How does your life stack up there? You know, one of the greatest challenges of going into the silence and the purity is the judgments you have of yourself. The judgments you have of yourself. It says in here, when you first shut your eyes, there may be phantom thoughts that flit through your mind. Well, that's all your worries and concerns. God, I'm going to take my time to meditate. Wait, okay. Okay, I'm busy with that. I haven't done that yet. Oh, God, I've got to do that. Okay, okay. Oh, man, I messed that up. You can do this for hours. And then you open your eyes and go, oh, God, hey. Well, I tried. Or you'll come and say, Cindy, I just can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. I just tried, I just can't get through it. Maybe if we stopped taking inventory and started just saying, I am good. Maybe just stepping over into that world of goodness. If everything is inherently good, when allowed to be, it will support our life force. If we mix things inharmoniously and force our will, we're in duality. You cannot meet the Lord of your being in duality, the pure in heart. You all hear me? The human will must be absorbed by the divine. And that is when you say, God, I am not all wise. Yet, within me, I am perfect. And within you is all knowledge. Let me lift my will to yours. And bathe me with what I need. And do you know what happens after a fantastic meditation where you feel one with God? You open your eyes and where do you go? Back into your life. And is there a God voice on your shoulder telling you every single thing to do? No. You are still the chooser. You may now see things differently, and you may choose differently. But you're the chooser. No one makes you do things. Giving your will to God's will is simply accessing your divinity to the greater path of your life. It's not becoming a robot. Does it sound so easy? Just wanted to read just a little bit more of this. When you go into that space, when you can get into that sacred space, he tells them that you'll see a candle lit in your brain, and there will be candles lit throughout your entire body. You'll just be a light. Then the curtains will part, and you will see the holiest of all, and there is the ark of God, whose covering is the mercy seat. Now, he is referencing his own Jewish heritage, and the Holy of Holies of their temple was their ark of the covenant and the mercy seat. Nobody was allowed to touch it. Nobody. Except the high priest only certain times during the year. This was a space that no human being was allowed in. By him using this as the metaphoric example of the within, he's giving all men permission to their own hierarchy, to their own God. There's no more separation, is what he's saying to them. And he tells them, if you'll touch it, don't be afraid. In it is all the wisdom you will ever need. There is the wand of prophecy for you to see what you need to see. The angels guard your life for you. He said they guard your life for you. All you have to do is touch it. The master that listened, one of the masters said, behold, the wisdom of God has come to man. And Jesus left. Can you feel the energy? Yeah. Do you realize the need for us to get out of duality? That's what will take us into that space that we need to be in. So, we're going to do meditation. You ready? Everybody breathe. I want you to see a beautiful column of light once again come over you. And I want you to feel the love of God pouring through that column of light. And just feel your body for a moment. And in your mind, in your heart, repeat these words after me and see how your body responds. Feel your body. I am good in every cell of my body. There is goodness in every cell of my body. Can you feel your body accepting it? Is there a pushback at any level? Part of it can accept, part may not. Just watch, be aware. Take a breath. I ask that God's love now flow through every cell of my body. Do you feel that? Focus on your mind. Every thought is filled with the light of God love. I ask that every thought be filled with the light of God's love. Breathe. Notice now your emotional body. I ask that God's love move through my emotions so that I am at peace. Notice if there is response, if there is acceptance. I ask that God's love move through my emotional body so I am at peace. Breathe and let your focus go to your heart. And just imagine that you can go into that beautiful space, that sacred space within your heart. Imagine you're moving through your garden, looking for that very sacred space. And however it appears to you is perfect, perhaps a cave or just a bench, the sacred space for you. And as you look at this space before you enter, feel the difference of the energy. And from your heart, say, I am good. I am good. And feel the space open to receive you. As you move into this sacred space, open to feel that beautiful love of God. God, my Father, my Mother, flow through me. And if you feel nothing but goodness, let it move from the heart through the body. My will is absorbed in divine will. I am love, and I am good. And just let the love of God pour through you. I am one with my sacred space. I am at peace. In your mind's eye, allow your vision to go to your hands, and you will see a note appearing from Spirit. The words are a message for you. Whether you can read the words or not, you can feel the energy. Thank God for this message. Thank the universe for the support. And take those words and put them into your heart. Feel that beautiful light all around you. Feel your goodness. And Father, Mother God, we ask now to bring this goodness back into our lives, so the purity of who we are shines in every moment. Breathe and notice that your focus is now being brought back to your physical body. Feel your cells vibrating. And feel the peace. I am good. The perfect light of God is the core of my being, and all my needs are met. Take a breath. Send your love into the room. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Can you imagine Jesus teaching the poor people? All the masses to go within their hearts. Can you imagine the tremendous change that would have occurred at every level in every country he visited? But don't you know there was some major change going on? just by going into the silence. You are good. I behold the Christ in each and every one of you. You are my brothers and sisters on the path, and we are going to do a good job. So it is.